Welcome back to the shop, everyone. So this week I haven't done much to the car. I've just been driving it, so I think I got some GoPro video of me driving the car, but that's about it. So I'm gonna change up the format a little bit. I've been kind of playing with the idea of not just doing the time lapse and the voiceovers, kind of do something like this where I kind of talk about the project that I'm gonna do and then get into some time lapse of it. And now that the car's been on the road, I hate driving this thing. I also love driving it, so it's the love-hate thing. Now, I love driving it because, goddamn, this thing is fun to drive. Holy shit, I never knew how much fun it would be. I hate driving it because of how loud it is inside the car. Now, I do have mufflers. They're just chambered mufflers, so, you know, and I do have 3-inch exhaust, so it is expected to be a little bit louder, but I kind of hope that with the full tailpipes on the car, that most of the sound is going to go outside of the car, but that just has not been the case. So, project that I'm on today is, you know, I just kind of painted some of the metal in here just so that it wouldn't rust, but what I'm going to do is battery box going to come out, wiring I'm going to undo and pull it back up to, you know, kind of where the electrical panel is in the car, because the mufflers kind of sit right under the back seat area. So pull all the wiring back up to there, and then what I'll do is I will seam seal all over the metal points. There's a couple of big holes in the back. I won't worry about those for now, but yeah, I'll take some seam sealer, seam seal all of these joints. The car also creaks a lot when you drive, but yeah, seam seal the joints, and then I'm gonna put sound deadening material over top. I've bought the sound deadening material already, so I have no qualms with doing it. The original plan was I was gonna paint the entire interior, you know, get the cage painted, and then do the sound deadening. Plans changed. I want to drive this car a lot this summer. I've got a drag and drive event in June. And as it is right now, driving the car for 10 or 15 minutes, I come back, my ears are ringing. It sucks. So I'm hoping that I can do that. Just sound deaden the whole thing and it'll quiet down. In a second here, I'll throw my iPhone with my sound meter in the back here. I'll fire up the car, I'll show you how loud it is before I do all of that, and then I'll show you how loud it is after I do that. The second part of this phase is I've bought new mufflers. So these are just chambered mufflers. So what a chambered muffler is, you know, you have your muffler, and then all it has is some like metal slats throughout the muffler to, you know, as the exhaust comes in, it kind of goes through a bunch of passageways before it goes out the end. So I got Flowmaster Super 44 Delta flows, I think, on this. So I've bought 2 new mufflers. I bought some MagnaFlow mufflers. Now, what that design is you have the muffler, you have the inlet, you have the outlet. There is a stainless steel pipe that connects the two, but that stainless steel pipe is perforated, and around those perforations, the MagnaFlow muffler is filled with a material that should accept the gas and hopefully quiet it down a little bit. So those won't be in until next week. So this video will happen. Hopefully I get the sound deadening and all of the seam sealing done. Maybe I get the mufflers cut out. We'll see. I might even just go for a drive because, I mean, I do love it. Oh, another problem, the passenger side muffler hangs way too low. I'll show you that when we get to it, but I will need to fix that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera, I'm going to fire up the car and just show you this thing is loud. don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the sound of this car. But as you just saw, at idle, this thing's sitting at 91 decibels inside the car and inside the driver's seat. And when I revved it up, I don't know, I think I saw like 96. I mean, maybe I got even up to 100, and that's only at like 1500, 2000 RPM. It's not even, you know, 5600 RPM. So I love the car. I love driving this. I absolutely hate how loud it is. My hearing's already garbage as it is, so I don't need any help in that department. So that being said, let's get to this. Let's start getting seam sealer in. Well, first I gotta pull the battery box out, pull the battery cables off, and we'll start getting some seam sealer on this and we'll start going at it. One of the great things about going to this kind of different format where I kind of do a little bit more talking in the video is I can talk about stuff like what I'm going to do here. So I bought this automatic caulking gun because I know that I need to seal a ton of area, and if I was just sitting there squeezing a regular caulking gun for, you know, the next half hour, it kind of suck. So this is speed adjustable, it's battery operated, kind of a nice piece. I don't know what speed I need yet, so the first few areas that I do might be really terrible, but it's fine. So I'm using this Proform PF224 urethane sealer. It can be painted, so if I wanted to paint it afterwards, I could. Yeah, so around the fuel cell, around the mini tubs, top, bottom, all that. Don't think I got anything else to say. Let's get at it. Yeah, that electric caulking gun made this job stupid simple. Anyone who's ever done this before knows that going through effectively 2 of these, like 1 7/8 is what I went through with just a hand caulking gun, it sucks. So the fact that I was able to just blow through this in like 5 minutes, I'm very happy with it. I'm gonna let this dry, and then once this is dried, we are going to start putting sound deadening in here. I'll talk about that when we get to it. So in this box, I have some Resonix sound deadening squares. I did a pile of research on, what the best sound deadening was, and in the car audio community, Resonix, even though they are pretty expensive, was kind of unanimously agreed upon that they are a quality product. Now, these are, I want to say 2x2 squares. One by one squares. I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's not 2x2, that's 1x1. So these are 1x1 squares. This box weighs 44 pounds. So I am hoping that this one single box will do the entire back area. And then I also have another product for the mini tubs to go on top of this, just to help deaden that a little bit more as well. So what this is, pull it out of the box, it's just a peel and stick square. It's got this kind of, well, it's got like the polyurethane stuff. So you peel it up, you get a place to stick it down, and it comes with this here roller to roll it down. Yeah, I've never used this stuff. But yeah, it comes with, so I have 3 of these boxes to do the entire car. The original plan, as I mentioned before, was paint the interior and then put this stuff down. Since when this stuff goes down, the paint color on the floor and stuff isn't gonna matter anyways, I'm not too fussed about doing this now. That will make welding on the underneath of this a lot more challenging if I ever need to do that, although I think all my welding is going to be from the rear seat forward now that I have torque boxes done and everything. So I think I will be okay to put these in. I mean, I'm doing it anyways. I need this car quieter. I need my own sanity, quite frankly. So we're doing it no matter what. Let's just kind of quick little peek here. Yeah, this stuff's sticky, but so I'm not getting it too close because I don't want I'll eventually wrap it over that existing sealant. I don't want to get stuck in it right now. So just trying to get a sense of what I'm gonna need. It's gonna be like, yeah, so like 3 squares and a bit. I don't know if I'm gonna start in the center and just work my way out, and then kind of cut up in there. I think that's probably what I'll do, but because I don't really want joints like on these surfaces. I kind of want where it overlaps the joints to be one piece out of the square. So what I might do is start here, or even start, what I might even do is start here, fold my way down, it'll go over, and then that'll kind of go down, and then out from there we can go up to the tubs. Obviously there's going to be some custom pieces in here. I really don't know what the best way for this is going to be. We're just going to fly at it and hope for the best, really. Hope it's pretty malleable, because I'm going to have, one piece here, and I'll have one piece here. Do I have to cut on the corner or something like that? Or is this malleable enough that I can just kind of fold it over the corner? We'll see. Yeah, we'll figure it out. but I'm looking forward to this. Now, one thing to note, this box is 44 pounds. I'm adding 44 pounds to the car probably just in this area. Is that a lot? Yes. Is that going to affect how fast it is? Yes. Do I care? 0%. I want this car to be quiet. If I want the car to go faster, I'll build a faster engine or better engine. The engine that's in there probably, you know, between 350 and 400 horse at the moment with the ProCharger configured as it is. When I build a new engine, I'll get more power, and you know, this thing isn't here to make records. This is here to be a fun street car and then do some drag and drive events, go to some car shows. So I don't need this to be the fastest thing on the road. I don't need that. Okay, I'm gonna wait and let all of this sealant dry, and then we will get back to this stuff. Alrighty, so this urethane, it's not fully cured and dried, but you know, it's been about an hour and a half or 2 hours since I applied this, and you know, it's not sticking to my fingers. It's just, it's tacky still, which I'm kind of okay with, because when I start rolling these squares in, it'll also help squish it down into the corner, so I'm kind of okay with it. This is also a urethane. It seems like a urethane thing, so I'm kind of okay just flying forward with this. My plan at the moment is I'm going to measure whatever this is, minus 12 inches, and then divide by 2 probably, something like that, and that'll find me the how far in I want the 1 foot square to start. Before I do any of that, I'm going to vacuum out the interior, maybe just clean it up with a little bit of cleaner. That way all the dust and stuff isn't down, although that's probably not a huge deal, but let's just vacuum it out. Yeah, let's vacuum it out. I don't need to worry about cleaning it. And let's start laying down squares. we have some sound barrier down. Is it gonna do anything? Well, I kind of want to find out. So I do have some more sound deadening that I was gonna do on the wheel tubs and stuff. And I don't think that would be too hard or take too long to do, but before I do any of that, it's quick enough to get all the wiring and the battery and stuff back in. So I think I'm gonna do that. Hopefully this drops it down, even if like 5 decibels, you know, hopefully 10, I don't know, we'll see. And you know, if it's not good enough, I can put the other stuff down. Obviously on this side with the electronic panel and stuff, I couldn't go all the way and wrap the bulkhead like I did on the driver's side. So I'm gonna have to wait until next year when I pull the car apart to do more. And then obviously I'll do the full car all the way up to the firewall, because that will hopefully help as well. I'm also going to do a roof skin on the car, so I'll put some sound deadening on the roof, which should help. But yeah, so let's just get everything back in here, starting with the battery box. I'm gonna cut down the ready rod that I had because it was too long. I couldn't get the lid back on. And let's just see if that did absolutely anything at all. I hope it did. I really hope it did. So everything is back together. All the wiring's been reconnected. Let's throw the phone back down right there. And let's fire this up and see if all of this made any difference at all. I'm hoping that it does. You know, 10 decibels at least would be nice, but let's just see what happens. Well, fuck. That did absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. That sucks. Hopefully, new mufflers, they'll be in this week. Hopefully with the new mufflers I can make that work. You know, do something with that. Fuck. Okay, well, it is what it is. I also found out while I was under there that I have absolutely zero suspension travel. Like, it's bottoming out, like with like half an inch to an inch. So what I need to do is jack the back end up, throw jack stands under it, let the jack down, let the rear end droop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the 2 bolts in the bottom of the shock, both sides, screw the adjustment rings up so that'll extend the shock out, and then I'll bolt the shocks into lower holes. So in theory, what will happen is the shock will extend without raising the body. That way none of my ride height or anything else will be affected, and that should give me a much nicer ride. So right now you hit the first bump and it's just wham. So I guess let's do that while I wait for mufflers to come in. Okay, so hopefully you kind of, I didn't point it out before, but maybe you noticed when this was sitting at ride height, this shock was like compressed to here. It was pretty much fully compressed, which is not good. It means I only had like a ½ inch of ride height, which, yeah, it's just not good, not acceptable. So this is an adjustable coilover. So I got these 2 adjuster rings here, lower one as the jam nut, and then this top one as the actual adjuster that the spring sits on. I have some, I believe these are a Torrington bearing right here. So when I go to adjust this, it should be pretty simple. And on my axle, I also have this bracket right here, which will allow me to effectively, I can unbolt this, adjust the shock up, because in theory, when I screw this up, what's going to happen is if I leave these holes where it is, the whole body of the car is going to raise by however much I adjust this up, and I want to go up about 2½ inches. So I want to go up a fair amount. So what I'll probably end up doing is this shock will actually end up dropping to the bottom hole. So if I just take a quick little measurement, give me a second here. Okay. So the hole's here. Yeah, so from the hole that we're currently in, this bottom one here to this bottom one, is exactly 2 inches. So if I go up 2 inches, I want to drop this down to the bottom hole, and that gives that, it in theory, if you know, if I'm right, that should in theory keep us at the same ride height. So got these tools here. What it does is it hooks into the top and hooks into the bottom the opposite way, and then I'm just gonna put pressure on this bottom one to break the bottom nut free. And now in theory, what I should be able to do is, how am I gonna measure this though? Yeah, so what I can do is I can run this bottom nut, well, yeah, I can run the bottom nut up until it's just snug. And then I can take the tool and, without turning the bottom one, turn this top one, and with that bearing on there, it makes it super nice and easy. I really need to add these bearings to the front. And so because right now the front hangs so low, or the muffler on the passenger side here hangs so low, if I just raise this up 2 inches, in theory that's going to push the body up 2 inches. So it actually gives the car a bit of a rake from the back to the front, which, you know, I might not hate. But it would also give my muffler a bit more clearance until I replace it. And I know some people might be like, holy crap, you're raising that up 2 inches. That's pretty excessive. Well, this is a 5.5 inch stroke strut or shock. So a good, fairly okay starting point is going to be somewhere in the middle. That will give me adjustability both up and down, or at least suspension travel up and down. Okay, where are we at here? So this is, that's 1 inch. That's like 1 inch on the dot, pretty much. Yeah, so 2 inch is gonna give me still a bunch of thread up here. Okay, let's keep on cruising. Can I do this by hand? No. What I might even do is just, you know, do this 2 inches on both sides and then drop the car down and see what it looks like, and see if I actually need to drop this down. Because if it looks okay, like if the stance is okay, you know, I might just leave it as is just for the extra muffler clearance for the moment. But to be fair, I did love how it looked before. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so we are at just under 1.5. Now, one thing I really don't like about this new format of video is I like to listen to music when I'm working. And I can't really listen to music. Mainly because the channel would be demonetized. Not that it's making money anyways, but We are 1 and between 7/8 and 15/16. Like just a tiny bit under 2. That is 2 on the dot. So yeah, you can see I brought this up a fair bit. I guess we'll have to see what happens once I let this down. But before I do that, I gotta do this other side. So all right, let's do the same thing on this side. I don't know if you saw me when I jacked the car up, but when I put it on the jack stands, I got the jack stands right here under the lower torque boxes. I shake the car, make sure it's not going to come off of them. And I give it a pretty strong push. I'm not, just a little, like I put some weight into it. I want to make sure that the car's not going to come down on me. Under the back of the car, it's not, I can kind of fit under the car, but if it somehow slipped off the jack stand at an angle, it just wouldn't be good. So last thing I want to do is, be stuck under a car crushed because it came off the jack stand because I didn't take 5 seconds to just push on it. That would be kind of ridiculous. And so the reason why I jacked the car up and put it on jack stands is with this kind of just all loosey-goosey, all of the force isn't on the spring. When this is on the ground, on the tires, all of the force of the car coming down is making this a lot tighter. So making this adjustment, while it may be possible, it is certainly not recommended. So it's easier to just jack the car up, throw a jack stand under it, and get all the weight off of the spring and off of the bearing. No, that's dead on too, same as the other side. Let's just let this down and see what happens. I mean, I'm willing to bet, oh man, look at that massive gap there now, but I'm willing to bet there's probably going to be a fairly substantial gap here. I'm not really going to want that, but let's just see. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so we're off the ground. I mean, if that's with the suspension fully compressed, that's horrible. Holy shit. They're fucking 4x4 now, boys. Went up 2 inches on the shocks and I got like 3 inches here. Oh, let's drop this down and let's see what we see. Well, what do you think? How does it look? Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's... No. I do not like that. I probably like... Yeah, I actually have suspension now. So I can lift up on it. I can go down on it. But I do not like that. So we got about 3 fingers there, or yeah, pretty much 2 inches. Same thing on this side. Yep. So we are going to do what I said we might do. Jack this back up. I'll unbolt the shocks from the rear end. With this on jack stands, I'll just support the rear end with the jack. I'll undo the 4 bolts, 2 on either shock, and we can lift the rear end up a bit. I'll probably do the 2 inches. I loved the way this sat before with the wheel nice and tucked in there. If I drop this 2 inches, this fender lip will pretty much sit exactly where it was again. Although, I do like that I got a bit more muffler clearance. Nah, I'm redoing that muffler. I don't care about that. I want it to look nice. Although I could probably drop it 1 hole, and then this would kind of line up with the front, because the front is, you know, I got a finger or 2 in there. Yeah. Yeah, I got like just 1 finger, so I might just drop this down to 1 inch. I think each of those holes is 1 inch. If I drop it down 1 inch, that should give the car the same look front and back. It won't be tilted backwards like a gasser. Let's do that. Let's drop that 1 inch, and we'll see where we go from there. Car's down, shake test. Yeah, this thing's solid, it's not going anywhere. Okay, I need a 9/16 socket and a 9/16 wrench. All right, so these are the 4 bolts that I'm going to adjust and move. Now, while I'm under here, I'm just taking a look at the park brake cable on the passenger side here. It looks fine. I don't think there's any problems with that anymore, fortunately. And it seems like it may have, the adjustment may have slacked off a bit, because I noticed when I pull the e-brake now, it goes like all the way plus. So, not quite sure what's up with that, but I mean, the tires stopped. So that bolt came out, you know, real easy. I'm kind of surprised without the rear end supported. Because in theory, the shocks are what's going to keep the rear end up. The upper and lower control arms are stopping it from rotating, but the shocks are what's stopping it from moving up and down. So now that I got that bottom one loosened, you just saw the rear end drop. And now this passenger wheel isn't quite on the ground, but it's not far off. So with all of that, so I guess what had happened is this bottom bolt was actually holding all of the weight of the rear end. So I was able to undo the top and loosen it off and get it out. And actually, I think that wheel might actually be on the ground right now. But because the other side is still tight, it's just rocked, so the very outside of the wheel is on the ground. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So you'll see here in a second. I'm gonna pull that out. Neat. So right now, both of these bolts are going to have a lot of force on them. So I don't think when I undo, well, when I undo this top one here, I might be able to get this top one out. Yeah, the top one's kind of loose. But again, the same thing is going to happen. As soon as I undo that bottom one, this side is going to drop. So I don't really want to do that. So after I get this top one out, what I will do is I will go ahead and I will put the jack under the diff just to kind of get it supported, and doesn't need a lot of pressure, just a tiny little bit. Yeah, so this one, it spins, but it's not free, and that's okay. We don't need it to be free. So what I probably could actually do is do the right side, get that up into place, and then adjust the other side instead of dropping them both, but let's just see what happens here. And then I am too far up, so I can't really, because, oh, maybe I can push this. No. What I'll do here is I'll just lower the diff down a little bit or jack it up. No, I think I'm going to jack the diff up a bit more, and then that should force us to pull in, I think. Am I right? Yes. Not the smartest person in the world, but I can figure some things out on my own. And because I painted these holes, they are actually really, really tight. So when I do that, I'm actually chipping the paint out of the holes, which, you know, if this were a show car, I might care about, but it's just more important that I have function. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this down now, just until the jack comes off of the diff, and then, oh, just like that. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come up and just kind of touch it and just support it a little bit. When I just support it a little bit, that should help this bolt come out easier. Maybe jack up a little bit more. Where's my ratchet? Let's see, is that happy? Happy? Can I get this out? Yeah, okay, it's coming. She's coming. Okay, there we go. So now that I have the diff supported, I should be able to undo this nut without too much worry. Well, of course I can undo the nut. I mean, I can pull the bolt out. Now, notice how when I loosened this one, the whole diff didn't drop. That's because I have the rear end supported. A little bit. Actually, what I will do is, instead of going in the middle, move the jack over, get right under this point, because this is what really needs to be supported. Jack up just a tiny little bit. You know, there's going to be a point where it should just want to come freely without too much force. So another good thing, you can just get a wrench on it, and as you're jacking up on it, it should start going real free and easy. So there, let's go a little bit more. There we go, just like so. Okay, so that's out. Jack this up until it's in place. So maybe just a little tiny bit more. There we go. Just like that. So these bolts are super easy to get at. Oh, you know what? While I'm under here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab a little rag, and I'm going to grab my bottle of acetone. So if you've watched in previous videos, you'll have seen me go around to all of these nuts, torque them up, and then with a blue paint pen, put a blue paint mark on them. Now, the purpose of that is so I can see at any time if anything has come out of adjustment. God damn it, I got some cuts on my hand, and that acetone stung like a motherfucker. So the reason why I'm wiping the paint off is because I untorqued these. So if at any point in time I'm ever under the car and I look at a bolt and the blue paint on the nut does not match the blue paint on the body surface, I know that for some reason that nut has backed off, and that's not good. So, I'll just remove the blue paint from the bracket and from the nut. And then that tells me these are not torqued. So if I were to go racing and I come under here and I look at this and I go, what the hell, there's no blue mark on this. Well, I better get my torque wrench out and make sure I haven't completely screwed myself. All right, while I'm under here, what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna replace this 90 just with a -10 AN cap. I of course had one on the floor over here. I didn't put it away, but I don't see it now. What did I do? Kick it somewhere? What did I do? Okay, well, I'm not going to replace that right this second because I don't know where the -10 AN cap went. I know that I had one just over on the ground earlier today and I didn't think I had moved it, but maybe I did. So in that case, let's just jack this back up, get it on the ground, and see what our ride height looks like now. Okay, that's back to where we want it. Yeah, that's much nicer. Let's just take a quick look here. Yeah. We can go up and we can go down. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay. Back into the car. We got to adjust that. The lock up on the shock, and we got to torque the 4 bolts. Those go. Alright, so I actually ended up finding my -10 AN cap. I had to go dumpster diving. All of those tan or beige whatever backing pieces from my sound deadening, those are all just strewn across the floor over there, and what I had done is I just picked them all up in one fell swoop, and I just chucked them on the chucked them in the garbage, and this little -10 AN cap was within that. Now, the reason why I'm replacing this little 90 or whatever it is with this cap is because if you're a very astute viewer, when I started working, I was wearing a different shirt and a different hoodie. Well, when I'd come under here to, I think I was cutting the zip ties off of the fuel pump wire while I opened this valve, and I leaked fuel onto myself. So covered myself in fuel. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go switch that shirt and hoodie, and now we got a cap on there. Now even if I open this up, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna piss out onto the ground, which is good because, you know, had this somehow opened while I was driving, you know, streaming all my fuel out, that would not be good. But I also noticed while I was under here, my fuel pump wire is kind of touching the diff. So I'm gonna just quickly throw a zip tie on this. I don't know why I didn't just jack this back up. I need to jack it up so I can do that exhaust. Yeah, sometimes I'm not the brightest person in the world. All right, so we got some of the sound deadening in, even though it did fuck all for sound deadening. I'm willing to bet once I sound deaden the rest of the car, maybe get some on the sides, the roof, that would probably help, but also I'm thinking different mufflers will probably help a lot. Adjusted the shocks, so I actually have shock travel now, because yeah, before it was bottoming out just by, you know, going like this, but now I can put my weight on it as much as I want, pull up on it, down, and I'm not bottoming it out, so I actually have proper suspension travel, which is kind of good. You know, you don't want to have solid suspension, so every time you hit a bump, it's just bam, you know, you want your suspension to take the brunt of some of that. But that is all the time we have for this week. So, as always, if you stuck around this long, I'd like to thank you for viewing, and we'll see you in the next one.